my surgery was supposed to be pretty routine. My daughter said my surgery went very well. There were no problems. But after the surgery, things started to go downhill fast. My organs started shutting down. My actually my hands were black, like the color black. Um, I was on a ventilator, trachea. They put me on dialysis, um, everything you can think of. And they ended up having to put me in an induced coma, which I was in for 3 months. While in the coma, I had an awful lot of weird thoughts and things that I thought were real. But the one thing that was real is God spoke to me in the coma. And I assume I wanted to die because I had been sick for a very long time. And he asked me if I was sure that was what I wanted. And I remember pausing for a few minutes. And I said, if it's my time, I get it. But if not, and from that, I don't know the time difference between talking with him and when I woke up. But when I woke up, I didn't know I had already had the surgery. And I remember telling my daughter, I still have to have the surgery. She said, no, you already had it. Now, here's the thing. Several years ago, I was in the hospital and I thought I was going to die. I mean, all the signs were there. And I remember the same voice telling me to look towards a window, which I did. And there was a body sitting in the chair and no one had come in. And I looked away. And then when I looked again, that body was gone. But there was like a whole room of calm and peace. And I went to sleep. Well, before I went to sleep, this same voice said, you will have a testimony. Then I went to sleep. So my surgery, when I woke up and kind of had my thoughts, I remember that. I remember the voice telling me that I would have a testimony. And that was my testimony, that I was at death's door, literally. The doctors had given up on me. They wanted to take me off life support. And my friend, who was my medical surrogate, told them no, to leave me on. Once they did leave me on, but once I woke up, doctors would come in my room and just stare at me. Because they just knew I wasn't going to make it. But I did. But I remember thinking later on that God has something else for me to do, or he would have let me go. And it took me, because I always felt I was supposed to be doing something, and I didn't know what it was. And I would ask God all the time, please show me what it is you want to do. I believe my near-death experience was for a reason. And I have, in the past, experienced a lot of things in regards to spirits and things like that. And I couldn't understand why I was able to see these things or feel these things when others couldn't. But knowing that I do have a purpose and I know what it is now. That's the thing, after my near-death experience, I knew what I was supposed to be doing. And it just came to me. And now that I'm doing it, that feeling of feeling there's something I need to be doing is gone. And I had that for years. I had that feeling for years. the near death experience, I didn't see anyone. The voice I heard was the same voice I heard when I was in the hospital years ago, and I knew it was God. I knew it was Jesus, and that gave me a lot of peace, even in the coma, because I knew things were going to be okay. But during the coma, I had some of the most bizarre things in my head. Um, I was told that it was because of the medication they had me on, because they had me on a lot of medication, and it caused hallucinations. I thought it was all real. I mean, in one of them, this man was coming at me with a saw, and it was on, and I could hear it. When I woke up and thought about it, I heard them cutting my chest. That was the sound I heard, but it put itself into my hallucination, um, which I thought was quite interesting. But I've always tried to be a good person. I've always tried to help others. Um, I have no fear at all anymore. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of anything. Our world is in chaos right now. It doesn't bother me. There's a lot that's going to happen, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I have so much love in my heart for everybody. Not just my family, but I mean every people I just meet on the street. That's why I was saying, I tell my story to anyone that I meet on the street, in the store, wherever. Um, because our world is in such a bad place right now. And there are a lot of people that feel they don't have any hope, that it definitely is gonna get worse. But I I just want to impress upon people that I meet, there is a God. There is a God, and he is the one who brought me back. My doctors and my family call me a miracle, because it was definitely a miracle that I'm still here. Um, and I thank God every day. My experience, a lot of people have told me, you that was 2 years ago. You should be over it by now. It doesn't go away. When you're that close to death, it does not go away. It stays with you for the rest of your life. And I'm comfortable with that. It gives me something to look forward to, because during the episode, I was comfortable. It was so peaceful and calm when he was talking to me. If this was my experience, but I've heard other people say the same thing, that they are no longer afraid of death because of what they saw, what they lived at that moment. It was a peace like I've never felt. And I I did deal with a lot, and it took me a long time after the surgery um, to kind of recover. I still have problems walking and with my hands, and it did damage to my brain, because they told me that blood didn't get to parts of my brain, and those parts are basically dead. And I was diagnosed with vascular dementia. That doesn't even bother me. If I were to lose my entire memory right now, it would not bother me. Nothing does. And that's amazing to me. I've never felt like that in my entire life. And I'm 70 years old. I've never felt like that. I've never felt the peace that I have now after having gone through that. I thank God every day for waking me. I thank him for the experience. I know this sounds crazy, but I thank him for putting me through that because it opened my eyes to so much. And I feel I have a lot to share with other people. And I made it my mission to do exactly that. You know, no matter what your circumstance is, it can go the way you would like for it to, but you just have to believe it. I have so much faith in God right now that anything that came upon me, I could deal with it. Where before, I was reluctant to do a lot of things. And with COVID, definitely, because I had breathing issues that were caused during the surgery. My lungs were collapsing. Parts of my lungs were collapsing. So I still have breathing issues, but I'm alive and I'm happy. I can't think of anything in the world that could make me happier.